Spill the tea.
Yeah, who is Nicole?
Accidental millionaire. Police had to come.
Back in 2022, you were named most influential tech leader.
I don't need to think of anything else because daddy's here. You're not my daughter anymore. And I am a mom of two.
Did you at some point wanted to just do abortion?
There's one kind of people that I don't want to be associated with.
Did you feel lonely?
Ready? Let's go.
Very happy to have you back, actually. So we already had a show before, and actually your episode was ranking top 3.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was
That was
ranking.
like a long time ago, though.
Yeah,
Top 3?
Yeah,
My episode?
yeah. I think you were like one of the most inspiring kind of personality. Yeah, so that is why I'm really happy to have you back.
Oh my God.
Right
I didn't
on.
know that. Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about who's Nicole in case they didn't, listen to that episode. And if you haven't yet, make sure you listen. So yeah, who's Nicole?
So my name is Nicole and I am a mom of 2. I'm 27 this year. I'm from Malaysia. And 3 years ago, I started my NFT project, Achin. And way before that, I was actually trying a lot of other businesses. And my first huge investment was when I accidentally bought into Bitcoin. And that's where I was a accidental millionaire at the age of 17. So that's where I fund myself to go to school and, everything else. And, today I'm 27, 10 years later, I am focusing on Web3 and my company Achin. So happy to share more.
Yeah. So what's your title? Like right now, what are you working on at the moment?
I would say founder of Achin.
And what is Asian?
Achin is a NFT project which started to represent Asian women. So back then, during the NFT craze, there isn't any Asian NFT project representing women. So that's where I saw the gap and I wanted to fill that. So I started Achin. So right now our project is still there. We sold out 3 years ago and our motto has always been the same, which is to represent Asian culture. I always tell my team that our direction will always be making the Asian tradition cool again. So we have done a lot of past collaboration and also like a lot of, the last one that we did was actually a Lunar New Year box because the Lunar New Year in the Asian tradition and the Asian culture, it's pretty big. So then we did like a Lunar New Year set, which was, which people loved it. Yeah. So that's kind of what we're focusing on.
Amazing. Yeah, in case the people who is listening, they don't know what is NFT. NFT is just a certificate, which is online, can represent you another digital identity, basically. So when you hold an NFT, it can represent you online and then you can have different kind of character and traits. So when they bought your NFT, they can contribute to Asian culture or like they identify themselves, resonate themselves with Asian culture, just for the people who don't know. So if anyone just click on this episode, what do you want them to take away after they listen to the whole?
Well, I would say maybe, I'm not too sure what I'm going to share yet, but because I started my entrepreneurship really early when I was 17, I do think that I failed a lot. A lot of the businesses and ideas that I wanted to do, I failed. But at the same time, I do think that life is a journey and everything, even if you succeed or you fail, it's a lesson as well. So I would say, everyone should always take a leap of faith and also open your heart and also to see, the opportunities that are ahead of you, because every time you say no, that's when, you actually shut off the option to have the opportunity right in front of you. But I would say I'm still learning every day, still trying to figure out my life, and also kind of what I want to do, and also what makes me happy, which I think everyone in any stages or in any age that you are, we are always trying to find that fulfillment. So yeah, I would say always keep an open heart. Yeah.
I think like behind every entrepreneur, there is a really kind of rich story. So before we dive in, I would like to ask you what kind of things I need to understand about you in your early context. Where did you grow up? What's your childhood look like? And why you might be going at the age of like 17,
16,
15,
yeah.
16. And then like what happened afterwards or before that? So yeah, I'm really curious.
So I would say I grew up in a very typical Asian tradition household. And I would say growing up, I lived a very typical, normal Asian, kind of lifestyle. And then of course, no family is perfect. So my parents were always like, having fights, argument, and it was really severe ones where, like the police had to come to like stop the whole thing, or else like the neighbor would start calling the police and stuff like that, because it's gonna be like, it would be like midnight, and then everything would just be like a chaos. There would be like, glasses shattering, everything else. But growing up, that was normal to me. It was like, great, like parents are just fighting again, right? Until one day, my dad passed when I was 16, about 17. So that's when my whole life just turned around. Before he passed, my parents were separated for maybe the last 5-6 years of before my dad passed. And I had 4 siblings. I'm actually the youngest. So then 3 of my siblings followed my mom, and I followed my dad. I was the only one that followed my dad.
Why?
Actually, I didn't have a choice because I was still young. And, the 3 of my siblings, they're all like working, and they have their own life and everything else. And they was like, great, I'm just going to stay with mom. And then I was like, oh, if 3 of you are going to stay with mom, I'm going to go with dad. And at the same time, my dad was like, follow me. And then it's just like one day I would just like finish school, and then we had a car to come pick us up. And then he's like, oh, you're not going home anymore. You're going to go to this place. And I'm like, wait, why? And he's like, oh, because your parents were arguing. And then that's where like my life just turned around. I just stopped seeing my mom and everything else.
Were you close to your siblings back then?
I was, but because my 2 elder brother, they were really far apart in terms of age gap. They're about like 20 years apart, around there, like 15, 16, 17 years apart. So they are like really old, and they have their own life, right? But I was still in school and everything else, and I was just like living with him. And then he felt really ill because my dad was actually diagnosed with muscular dystrophy. It's a really rare disease where your muscle will just start shrinking, and it's really, really painful. So then it would start from your legs and hands, and slowly it would go to your organs, and then your heart and your lungs, and then that's when you're just gone. So he was diagnosed with that. So then he is always like in wheelchair, he's in the wheelchair. So when I followed him, I had to, because nobody else was taking care of him, so I had to like take care of him, everything else. So that's when I started to be like more independent, because my dad was dependent on me, although he is still the man of the house. So then I was still going to school, all that kind of stuff. And then one day he just kind of like passed on. But before that, I actually loved playing games. I was playing this game called Maple Story.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you're playing Maple Story.
No, I'm like typical Asian, so I wasn't allowed to play any games.
Oh, okay. I mean, like me too, but because like, I had a lot of time, so I would just play. So Maple Story was like my life. I would save up all my money just to buy A-Cash, which is like the game points in the game where you could like change your hair, you could like buy a cute sword, all that kind of stuff. Every day I was given like 10 ringgit, which is about $3 a day. And I would like not eat in school. It's just a lot,
right? Back then. $3
$3
per day.
I mean, it's okay because I mean, inflation, it's like well, probably $2, $2. Yeah. Yeah, it's actually about $2.
Yeah.
So that would save up my money just so that I could like buy a cash, right? So that was like my life goal. I was really focused on just saving money, buying a cash so that I can look cute in the MapleStory game. So then one day I was just online and I stumbled across this article. Then it says, the future of currency ... Bitcoin, right? And then I was clicking in and then I was trying to understand what this Bitcoin is. I was like 16 years old. And I don't know why, somehow my brain thought that this was equivalent to MapleStory money, but in real life. Because me trying to buy a cash, I need to go to like a convenience store, and it's really like a hassle thing because I need to ask someone to drive me there, and then I got to go down and buy it. So I was like, holy shit, like if I have this Bitcoin thing, I can just use online transaction. I don't need to get out of the house to get whatever I want. So I was like, holy shit. Then I took everything that I had in my bank, which is, all my parents' life saving for me because they had like red packets that I accumulated growing up. So I think I had about like 2,000 USD in the bank. I cashed out everything and I bought Bitcoin at that time.
You went all in.
Yeah, I went all in. I was like, I'm going to take out everything I have to buy Bitcoin. This was like when I was still like, 15, 16, right? And then back then Bitcoin was about like $80.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but back then I was like, it's expensive because I thought a coin should be less than $1.
Yeah, of course.
And like, but this is like $80. So it's like really expensive, right? So then I bought it and I forgot about it. So then I carried, like my normal life until my dad was really sick and then he passed on. And that's where things started becoming really complicated. Then I had to go back to my mom because I wasn't 18 yet, right? I wasn't like legal age. So then I had to go back to her and then she was, instructing me to do a lot of things. And she's like, you need to, stop studying and start working and then try to like get like a rich guy and like marry a rich guy, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Just like a very typical Asian thing. Yeah, and my mom is not really like, she didn't go to like high school, right? And she's like in her 60s right now. So, and she always thought that I look good, like I look pretty.
You're pretty.
And then she's like, oh, if you're pretty and you can do a bit of housework, just marry a rich guy and then you're set for life. That's honestly how it is. Like as much as I don't want to say it, but this is how it is. So actually, I always think that if you come from a traditional family and if you are pretty, they would just assume that, you're set for life. You just got to find a rich guy. And of course, I didn't want that to happen. So long story short, I then moved to Melbourne and I was living there for 5 years and I funded myself to go to school. And it was a really difficult journey, definitely, because you were just trying to figure life out. And because I was there and I had no curfew, I had no parents' guidance, I was there like by myself. I was like partying a lot. I was like just doing a bunch of like random things.
Mm-hmm. Before we go in, can you take me back to the day that when you received the news that your dad was gone? Can you take me back to the day? How you feel? And
I think I was really confused.
Where were you? Really school? Or?
Yeah, I was still in school. So I was in like, somehow I thought that everything would just turn out fine, which did not. Because like once he's gone, everything just turned around. Uncertainty.
Was he the only close friend that you had back then, or
my dad?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say so, because I think it's just maybe because I'm a girl. That's why like we're always really attached to our dad. So then he's like my best friend.
What was the biggest change before and after he passed?
Definitely a huge change. I think because I was really young, so I didn't know a lot of things, and I didn't even know the impact that he had in terms of his presence and his figure towards me. I mean, I always had the thought that I don't need to think of anything else because daddy's here, and then now he's not here, and then I'm like, holy shit, what do I have to do now? Like, I feel that, everything's very confusing. And then it's also because in terms of the financial side of things, because things weren't really done well, as in he didn't have like a will. So it was really confusing and all that kind of stuff, and ended up I didn't have enough money to even go to school. So then I had to like figure things out by myself. So yeah, I would say it's confusing.
I think that back then I was interviewed and somebody asked me, said, what kind of moment would you think you'll be the end of the day? And then for me, it's actually like, I think the only thing that I think for me is game over would be my dad or like my parents gone. Even though I'm close to 30s, but I still cannot imagine without that kind of support, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I'm gonna cry.
So there was no financial support. Your mom contacted you, or did you?
I think like wait, give me a moment. I think like because I was following my dad, so my mom just kind of like disowned me in a way, because she did tell me the day before. I mean, the day after I left my dad's place. She just told me that like you're not my daughter anymore, and then please don't ever come back. Something like that.
How did you feel?
Back then, because I was really confused. So then, and I mean, and also because I was really young. So I think I was like really rebellious, and I said like, you know what, like F you, it's like, because I was also really angry and confused at her. So I was like, sure, like I don't want to come back. That was my attitude back then. So yeah, I actually didn't really see her, right, for a couple of months, years. Yeah.
So after your dad passed, and did you try to stand just by yourself on the ground by yourself, trying to find money,
Yeah, definitely. So
what did you do?
It was definitely really, really tough. I was trying a lot of different, side hustles, and, trying to start businesses. I was doing a lot of like reselling of luxury items, and I was just looking for a lot of opportunities, just like trying to make it work. But looking back right now, I would say that hard work does work as long as you don't give up. Yeah, I was doing a lot of bunch of random things, but most of them are like online. So even although I was investing in Bitcoin, it actually went up and I sold, and then it crashed again because there was this whole like China-India ban thing. So then by that period of time, I still needed to pay for my school fees. And being an international student abroad, you had to pay for rent, you had to pay for your school fees, and then for food, for everything else. It's just a lot. That was probably one of the darkest period of my life. Also because I accidentally became a mom. I became a mom at 19 when I was still trying to finish my school. That was also really, really tough.
How did you find the connection back with your mom? Like you said, your dad passed, and then you tried different things to support yourself, and then at some point you connect with your mom. How did they?
One day after having my daughter, I then realized that family values are really important, and at the end of the day, she is still my mom. So I would say I try to be the bigger person. And, I was like talking back to her when I was trying to make the relationship better. And yeah, but I would still say it's still quite a struggle. It's still quite a struggle.
You call her from Melbourne, or how?
Yeah, I just started calling her. And a few times she just like, she didn't want to answer my call for a few months. And later on, I was going to my sibling. I said that, hey, can you, talk to mom about it? Like, I want to see her. I want to like, yeah, but, I think it's just an Asian thing where we just meet each other and just pretend like nothing happened. And then thinking that it will be fine. But I don't think that's healthy, because then once something bad happens again or something small happen, then the whole thing will just like,
Collapse.
come back. Yeah. So even until today, to be honest, I haven't been speaking to my mom for like 4 months. Yeah, and she did the same thing again. We had a small argument, and she told me like, you're not my daughter anymore. Like, don't come back and see me ever again. You're not welcome in my house, and all this kind of thing actually do hurt. Yeah.
Do you think at some point you just kind of turn off your emotions when you heard such things?
I think you have to, because not every family, I mean, we don't get to choose our family. And not everyone is blessed with having that loving family as much as we want to. And probably everyone has their own problems as well. So I would say my mom growing up, she probably has her own set of problems, and probably losing my dad and everything else combined, she is also going through some things. Although I'm the youngest, like I would say that I try to be the bigger person. But definitely, it's definitely tough.
Do you think it's unfair?
Yeah. Compared to like everyone else, sometimes I do think like, oh, why can't we just be normal for a bit? Why can't you just let the past go? Because she is still having a bit of resentment towards me that I followed my dad, but she knew that I had no choice. Like I was still young. So she still felt like I betrayed her in some sense following dad. And I was like, but she don't understand it in my point of view that I love them both equally.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that is.
Yeah, I think that my parents, when I was younger, they had a lot of arguments as well. And I still vaguely remember that my mom asked me, how about the divorce, but my dad was never talking about these kind of things with me. I think when I was really young, I developed this mentality that whatever between my mom and I and my dad and I are between us separately, but whatever your adult thing you wanted to deal with, you do that. But definitely the Asian parents, when they fight, it's severe. And I think that is a really mature thought, that you can separate things individually. And I think parents, it's all, how should I say, it's also their first time to be parents, right? And our first time to be kids. And I think at this point, it's really hard to ask parents to make any changes. And we kind of need to make more effort.
Yeah, I think as we grow up, we will realize that everyone's family is different, right? Because when we are young, we look at, we'll watch TV and we will have this thought that, oh, dad is this and mom is this, and probably everyone's mom and dad is the same. And then when I grow up, it's probably they will always be supportive of me and they will love me, and then I'll have my family, and then they will be the loving grandparents. But unfortunately, things are not like that, For me, it's always image that I had to remove from my head and kind of look at my parents and my family as an individual on their own, and not the image that I saw on like TV or like the media of how a mom or a grandma should be, So I think that's something we need to accept and try to see how we can work around it. In fact, maybe sometimes you gotta be the parent
of your parents, right?
Your parents.
100%.
And actually, that was me. That was like when I was young, when I was about, 20-ish, I had to be the parent to my mom.
Your dad too, because your dad was ill,
of course. And then because he was in a wheelchair, and then I had to like, I had to like shower him, feed him, clothe him, like, everything else. So yeah, it was just very, very weird at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're like, wait, so who's the parent right now? And then because my mom was also really emotional, right? Until today, she's still really emotional. So a lot of the times, sometimes you gotta like ask her to like, mom, just stop. You gotta like be that role. So yeah, I would say every parent is definitely different. Yeah, every family is different.
And how does this entire early childhood thing impact your life in Melbourne, your motherhood? And you were still so young too, like 19 years.
I was like a child.
Oh, yeah, a child. Having a child, basically.
Yeah, I was a child with a child, basically.
So how did that go? Like,
it's really tough, like becoming a parent that young.
especially when you were finding a financial resource for yourself.
Yeah.
And then being pregnant.
Being in school. And then when I was 19, the only thing that I had in my head was I wanted to have fun. And I wanted to make friends. I wanted my friends to like me. And I wanted to be like included in every meetups, every group meeting, every party. I want to be in every photo. And being pregnant, like in school, abroad, it's definitely
Unconventional.
Yeah, it's definitely unconventional. Yeah. And you are the odd one out. And a few times I was kind of pregnant in school. People would make fun of you. They would.
No, they
Yeah. I mean, imagine just like one Asian girl just like freaking pregnant. And I
what
was
they
like,
said about you.
a lot of mean things. A lot of mean things. You know how teenage boys are, especially like, it's just all kinds of mean things. Even the lecturers, like, wouldn't say it in front of you, but they would still laugh. It's like, for example, someone would say a comment and then he would just laugh and just agree and just keep quiet. And because it's odd to have like a pregnant girl in like trying to finish a degree,
What was the most hurtful thing for you back then?
They just started calling me shotgun. They would just scream out loud. They would be like, shotgun.
Why? What does it mean?
Which means being accidentally pregnant.
Oh.
Yeah, like.
How did you react?
I was crying, actually, a lot. Yeah. Especially when friends started just not wanting to talk to you. Like, and then you realize that they're actually talking behind your back as well. They started creating like group chats on WhatsApp. And like the WhatsApp would be like the group name would be called like No Nicole Chat or like No Pregnant Woman Chat.
What?
It was actually really, really mean and really hurtful, especially when you call these people your friends. But of course, I'm still talking to them till today. And it's maybe because they were still really young. But back then, like my life was like over. I thought that, okay, I lost my dad. And then I was, doing a lot of wrong things in terms of like trying to make life work, trying to fund for myself, for my school. And then having friends that created like a group chat, like No Nicole Chat, right? Just because I was pregnant. A lot of times I really just felt like, everything I was doing was wrong. The whole world was just like
Fucked
against
up.
me.
Yeah.
It was. So I had that victim mentality, which was really bad and really hard to get out of, Yeah, so it was a dark phase. It was like the darkest period of my life. I know that right now I'm 27. I have 2 kids, and every time I go out, a lot of my friends will be like, "Oh my God, you started life young. You're so smart. Like your body recovered really fast. You're so lucky. You're so ahead of us." But they don't know I had to go through hell to have what I have today. And thank God, like my kids, they're like big and they're like smart and they're really amazing and cute, and they don't give me much of that problem anymore. But back then, I was this close to just giving up a lot of the times.
Yeah, I was about to ask because so basically back then you didn't find a sense of belonging from family side. That is why when you are in this new environment and you try to fit in, you try to find a community, even a family kind of feelings, then you accidentally pregnant. And when you're pregnant, your friends turn their back on you. Did you at some point wanted to just do abortion because you want to find yourself?
Yeah, definitely.
And what kept you going? Like,
honestly, because I found out really late, and I went to the doctor, and I was like, okay, I want my life back. Solve this problem. And he told me he said, your it's been, a few months. And then if you were to like abort it, you will need to push it out, and I was thinking, if I were to push something out, like it better be alive, so I just decided to just keep it.
Carry on.
I just decided to keep it, because at the end of the day, it's my fault, and it's because I was reckless and I wasn't, so I got to take responsibility. And actually, when I was in a doctor and then he was doing like the scan, you could actually see the heartbeat of the baby, and it's like just really cute, small, like it's like a little gummy. And then you just looked at it, and then I at that moment I had no heart to do anything about it. And I'm so glad that I didn't.
I thought it was really cute.
Yeah.
I can verify that. Mini Nicole, basically. And what kept you carry on, like, during that period of time? Like, where did you find the light? Because I assume it was pretty difficult, because I was also bullied my entire life as a child. So I wonder what kept you, like, strong, making money on the side as a pregnant woman in the school, and people making horrible comments. I was called prostitute when I was a kid. I really didn't know why I wasn't.
I mean, those are some of the comments that I get too.
Yeah, I really don't understand it. Yeah, and
I mean, honestly, I still don't know how I managed to go through it. Like every day when I wake up, I would say it was really the darkest hour of my life. Every morning I would wake up and I'll be like, fuck, here we go again. It's like I don't want to wake up to another day. And it was really dreadful. Like the whole year felt like 10 years for me. Even sitting in that classroom for like a 1 hour, 2 hour lecture, it just felt like forever.
You just want to vomit, right?
I just want to like dig a hole and put my head in it and just like disappear from this face of earth, So that was really tough. That's why every day I was like struggling inside. But the thing is, I didn't know how to manage it. I had no one to like talk to, because the friends, I mean, I do try to like open up to my friends and be like, hey, I feel like, I don't feel well. And then they would just say, oh, it's hormones, and just like, it's fine. Wow. You're fine. And I think because they don't know what I'm going through. Yeah. Like 100%. They are not the one pregnant. They are not the one having financial problems. So then I just decided, like, you know what, I'm just going to suck it up. And I'm just going to live a day as it is. If I make it, I make it. If I don't, then that's just too bad.
And when did you have the second one?
So I had my second kid 4 years ago during COVID. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I was, my daughter was 3 years old. And then back then she really wanted another sibling.
And really, that's special.
She wanted another sibling, and she was playing with like just random kids, like in the mall, and she would like touch other people's babies. And then that's when I think like I want to give her another sibling as well. At the same time, I was trying to patch the relationship that I had with her dad as well. We're going through a lot of marriage counseling and stuff like that. And then there was this time where we got this advice and said that, you know what, maybe if you had another child, things would be better. That was what we did. We tried for another kid. Yeah, and that's where Tommy was born. I mean, my son was born. Now he's 4 years old.
Yeah. You really love your kids, right?
Yeah. I love kids.
Only your kids, or like kids in general?
Yeah, I feel like, I mean, I want to have 6 kids.
Yeah, question mark, why?
I feel like, having your little team, having your little family is the best team that you can ever have, And it's like just having that, because your kids, like my kids, like my daughter and my son, they always are really supportive. And I would say they are my everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, like every word that they say means so much to me. Like someone else can call me pretty and I'll be like, thanks. But when my son calls me pretty, I'm like, really? Like you really think I'm pretty? So even talking about them just makes me so happy. And I think I finally found that missing piece that I want in my life. And it's hard to explain. And also, I finally knew the true meaning of unconditional love. I would say, like, growing up, I always thought how I know what love feels like, or like what even unconditional love means. But I would say that you would never truly know that feeling until you have your own kids. And I have dogs before. I have my pet, and I love my pet. And I always thought, like, I will love you forever, but the love is different. Having kids is different. Having a pet and having kids are different. Having a pet, I would say, like, I always feel like I need to take care of my pet is because he can't live without me.
Yeah.
It's more of like I need to take good care of my pet because, like, he's just so cute and so small. But kids are a whole new level. Like they would do things for you. Like, even let's say if they were to have one cookie, and then if you said you were hungry and they really wanted this cookie, and they would actually break a piece for you. And then if not, they would just say, "Mommy, you know what? Since you're hungry, why don't you take the whole thing?" And you know that this cookie means the world to them, and they are willing to give their whole world for you. And just having little tiny humans around you, it's just so cute, and it's like a tiny version of you. Like my daughter, she looks exactly like me. She even has this like middle parting, like this iconic hair, like right. And she's always like, "Mommy, I love my middle parting," and she's always like this, and I'm like, "Damn, she looks like me. It's exactly like me." Yeah.
I think they're kind because you're kind. You know what I mean? I think it's about education, because I saw a lot of horrible kids. Trust me, I saw a lot. And that is part of the reason why I'm like hesitating to have kids. But my question to you is that you want to have like big family, like 6 kids.
Yeah,
let's say it's a big one, okay? Let's agree on that. Do you think to a certain degree you want to compensate the childhood?
I think maybe. I haven't really dived deep into that yet, but I always thought to myself that if I have the financial capability and I have a healthy young body and I'm willing and I'm still able to conceive, I want to have 6 kids. And the reason why I say 6 is because the study shows that the best time to have kids is before when you're 40. Right.
I still have time. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I want to have 1 kid, and I have kind of made like this assumption, and also this study that the best gap between 2 siblings is 3 years. It's the best gap, because once they are 3, they are able to be on their own, and they could help you out for the next kid. So my daughter and my son is 3 years apart. I want to have 1 kid every 3 years. So I'm 27 now. So which means when I'm 39, I will have 6 kids.
Yeah.
So which means that is a good calculation of why I want to have 6 kids. So actually so which means I'm actually supposed to have another kid this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so fingers crossed, I'll be able to have another kid this year.
Okay. So you are going to make the best out of everything behind before 40, before turning 40.
Yes, because according to science, they said, and research, they said that is the optimal age. Before you have any risk. But of course, people can have kids before 40 too. At the same time, one of my inspiration and role model is actually Kris Jenner. You know how she has so many kids, and they're all just like amazing, and I just want to like grow up and just like manage my kids. Just like manage them, be a mom nature.
And what would you envision them turn out to be in the future? Like,
they can be anything they want to be, but even if they want to be a painter or whatnot, I would say that I would try to teach them and push them to be an entrepreneur. And I would just support them in any way I can. I feel that I'm good at closing deals and business partnerships, and I think we have seen what I've done. And I think that if I were to keep on going this path, I think this is something that I would enjoy doing. Just like talking to brands, making things happen. And if I have my own kids and they have their own businesses, I could see how whatever that they're doing, could work with other brands, and then I could just be like the manager, or like for them, and just build this little like empire. You know? Yeah.
So like when back in 2022, you were named most influential tech leader in Asia who takes us closer to the future at the age of 25.
Yes.
How did you feel? Despite all the things you've been through, because nobody knows it.
Yeah.
How did you feel? How was it?
At first I was like, really? Me? Like me? Most influential in Asia?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was like, I actually did ask them. I was like, are you sure? Like, is there anyone else? You know? And then they were like, no, like, you know, because how did they end up there? They were looking at the things that I've built and also the impact that I've created, because I was representing Asia in like worldwide. But I was putting Malaysia on the map in terms of tech and future, and that's why I was actually really, really grateful for that. But I was shocked. Yeah, I was shocked. I was like, because I never thought, actually I would never even thought that I would be covered on like a magazine or having like a title. You know, I was never aiming for that.
Yeah.
Right. I was just trying to do my best. Yeah.
When that article came out, did your social circle, social dynamic change a little bit?
Yeah.
How people react to it? Or like the people who wasn't nice to you all of a sudden?
To give context, I wasn't like a smart kid in school. So I was like, last time I was actually like the second in class, like from the last.
Me too. I was the last one. You were like very amazing.
Yeah, so then like growing up, people just thought like, yeah, you know, she's just... And I wasn't really focused on school as well, because I was just busy focused on like, oh, my boyfriends, relationships, friendships, drama, you know, and I think I was just into that. So when that article came out and, you know, people around me started noticing, then they actually started reaching out to me. A lot of my friends from my school started reaching out to me, started congratulating me. And I remember this comment when we had a gathering, and I don't think they meant it, but two people said that, Nicole, I never knew that, you know, you would turn out this way. And I was like, what do you mean?
Yeah, what do you mean?
I was like, what do you mean? And she's like, no, last time you were so like messy and you were all over the place. I never thought that you would even be, you know, like start your own company. And I'm like, I take that as a compliment, thank you, you know, but they were just actually pretty shocked. And honestly, if I were to think back and I look at myself today, I would never imagine I would be in this position, having my own company, running, you know, doing amazing things, doing like, you know, tech stuff, because I'm not like you know, I don't really know a lot of like, I don't know how to code and all that kind of things. I would never imagine myself being in this space too. So yeah, that's why I would say, you know, life is full of surprises. You don't know.
I think like on the way to succeed, it's lonely.
Yeah.
Did you feel lonely?
All the time. Even until today, I would say. Yeah.
You are still lonely.
I still feel that I'm lonely.
Why? Which part?
I would say that as an entrepreneur, you're always in your own journey, and it's your own effort. Let's say you have a goal that you want to reach. Let's say you want to start a company. That journey is going to be a lonely journey. And every day you wake up, there are some days you're like, yes, I want to do it. Like, I can do it. I will jump on a call and then I have everything sorted. And there's some days where you wake up and you feel like, what am I doing? Like, is this even working? You would like doubt yourself. Many times you just want to do something else. You're like, oh, maybe this is not working. I've been working on this the past months, past years. It's still not succeeding. I'm not making money yet. I'm not seeing the result. So it's definitely a lonely journey. But then that's the thing about entrepreneurship, right? Once you kind of have the motivation, things just
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, no, things just seems well. It's like, yes, I'm on this journey. I'm gonna succeed, right? And then when one thing goes wrong, like let's say one of your staff leaves, and you're like, shit, like, am I doing the wrong thing? Am I wasting my time? And I think it's a cycle.
Yeah.
It's a never-ending cycle, no matter what you do. And I'm pretty sure you feel that way too, right?
Yeah. Entrepreneurship is like, I totally agree with you, especially like you spend, let's say, 90% of the time talking to yourself in your head, even though you're in social gathering, and your mind just somewhere else, oh my God, tomorrow we need to pay. Or like, tomorrow we need to send this email, but like, where is the deck, whatever. I would say along the way, the most difficult part is that I lost a lot of friends, like a lot. And I don't think I can get over with that
Let's just talk about what happened a few days ago or like last week. We were we were in a social gathering like last few weeks, and we were introducing ourselves to a girl, and then she's like, "Wait, you have a company?"
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
So then that is honestly something that we face all the time.
Yeah.
And then sometimes that makes you feel like, am I not fitted to do this?
Yeah.
So I think that is one thing that we all have to.
And how did you react? Like, how did you react to that kind of comment?
Sometimes the best reaction is no reaction, and you just be like, yeah, because you can't be getting mad at that comment, right? And probably that person is insignificant to you as well.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So you just gotta be at your own lane, and then I think once you have the result will speak on itself.
Yeah.
It's like maybe your company is awarded something, right? Or one day you are on like a front cover of the magazine, and then that's when people would know. You don't have to like prove to them like, hey, guess what? I was Asia's most influential, right? It's like so we just sit there and smile and just be like, yeah, I do have a company. And then they'll be like, oh wow, how like is it how is it? Like, nah, just trying to make things work. So I think I have figured out because it's also because we look this way. Like we don't look like we are like a CEO or like a founder, right? We look like probably someone's PA.
And we make reels.
Yeah, make reels and just do like, TikTok stuff, which I do enjoy as well. But we don't show the other side of us online because I don't think my followers or your followers would like to see you just working and like scolding people and asking them to do delegating things, right? So because we look this way, people would profile you that you are not doing something
serious,
more significant than what you are, right? So, and I came to a phase where I just accept it. I just like, yep, that's how I look, and that's totally fine. But at the same time, that we could also use that to our advantage, because if you look too strong, sometimes people might feel inferior. They'll be like, oh damn, she looks like a CEO. I don't want to talk to her. I don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to be friends with her. But because we look so welcoming, right? People want to talk to you and people want to be friends with you. Yeah. So
it's so funny because I think I told you this when I was seeing somewhere else having conferences. A lot of times people thought I'm the showgirl. Yeah. Like I was like, yeah, and I'm just like politely smile.
Yeah.
And I walk away. And then when they, stalk you on socials, holy shit, okay, wait, she's actually a founder. I mean, I don't know. I don't feel like explaining myself anymore, right? Just like you said. And what I wanted to ask you, the next question would be defining high quality human being. I don't want to genderize it, but I think you are a really high quality human being in terms of life.
Really?
Yeah, of course. And also like the heart, how you project the world, even though you have been through so much. Also, a lot of listeners, they are like really high quality human beings, I believe. What do you think in general this type of person are looking for in life, like romantic sense or like friendship wise speaking? What are you looking for, or in general?
honestly, I'm the kind of people where I would make friends with everyone, but there's one kind of people that I don't want to be associated with at all in any form, even in business, in friendship, in relationship, any ships. It's people with a victim mentality. I think once you fall into that mindset, there's no way you would get out. And you would not only drag yourself down, you drag everyone around you. That's just one type of people that I don't hang out with, because I would say that we are often, our emotions and, we are always affected with the people that you're closest to. So that person could just be a person where you meet once a week or once a month. But you would feel the difference that every time you meet like someone with a victim mentality, you would subconsciously feel the same way too. And I think for us, because now we are like grown adults, we're not like in school where you're stuck with like that same 20 people in the classroom and you're forced to eat lunch with them, be friends with them. I think we are, now that we have like grown up, we have the chance to say no to people and the chance to pick the people that are good for us. So I would say that is one quality that we all should have. And it's also okay to say no.
Yeah.
Because we need to protect our own well-being and our mindset as well.
I was a people pleaser when I was younger, because, like I said, I was bullied the whole life. So I wanted to please people, right? And only up until the point I left my homeland and then I moved to Europe. And then I just realized it's okay to be special. I was special. And then I think it's okay to be special. And then you find your new circle, right? And I think that comes a long way. Tommy and Tiffany come back from school and said, Mom, somebody did this mean thing to me. And I'm so sad. What would you say?
I think I have kind of taught my kids to feel their emotions, that it's okay to feel sad, but at the same time, other people's words do not define who you are. So I always try to teach my kids to just don't care about what other people think. That's why my daughter, I would say one thing that I'm really happy about her is that she is really confident in her own skin. And there were a few times where her friend didn't want to play with her, didn't want to talk to her, and she was really upset. She was like, oh, I used to have this best friend, but she's not talking to me anymore. And she's like 7, Yeah. And I'm like, you know what? It's okay to be sad. And I even told her, like, if you feel sad, you can cry, and it's okay.
Yeah.
And then she would be like, no, I don't want to cry. I'm a big girl, right? But then later on, once you talk to her again, I'll be like, you know what? I used to have a friend and she didn't want to talk to me. And she actually cried after hearing my story because she could resonate with that because she felt the same way.
Yeah.
So then after that, she actually has a lot of confidence. And even you could say that she's like, oh, your hair is not nice. Like she would still be like, it's okay, but I like it. Like she would tell you that it's okay, you don't like it, but I like it, And I think it's good to teach kids from young that it's okay that other people don't agree with you as long as you're happy with your own. And this is something that we need to constantly remind ourselves as individuals and kids as well, because I think that's just human, right? Because we're always being distracted. There's so many people, and I think we are also born to kind of have this people pleaser kind of attitude where we would want to be likable.
Yeah.
That's why, if me doing that is something that I would be accepted and liked, I would want to do it. But then that's the thing where when we overdo it and we kind of put our emotions aside, and that is when we will not be happy, because then we start to do things not for ourselves, but it's for other people. So we need to find that balance. And I think even as adults, we are still like that. Like when you go to a new workplace and you decide, oh, my boss liked me doing this, so I'm going to do that. And then you realize, like, I actually don't like doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
if like Tiffany grows up and then like about to date, what kind of partner you think high quality Tiffany will look for?
oh my God. she already has kind of a boy that she likes, and you know him, right? They're like
Yeah,
7.
yeah.
They've never met. They just play
I know.
Minecraft together.
I
I mean, kids
know.
these days, right? They just
I know.
it's crazy. And she's like, one day she's like, Leon's my boyfriend. I was like, he's cute, I know, but you're like 7. Both of you are 7, and you have never met. Both of you are never met. So, and for context, Leon is my friend's kid, my friend's son.
What kind of quality you think it's important in terms of dating? For like
For my
C-level,
kid?
for your kid as well, for C-level, for high quality woman.
For myself, okay. So,
just imagine.
yeah. Some of the qualities. I would go for someone that knows what he wants in life. Because when someone doesn't know his direction or, you know, what he wants to do, you will feel confused as well. And then you would try to find a bunch of things and try to like help him in a sense, like, okay, I think you might want to do this, and then you would kind of make yourself confused as well. So it's good when you get someone that knows what he's doing in his life, and he's trying to achieve his goal, and then you are trying to achieve your goal. And then when you both combine those forces, and that's when you both will actually be a really good motivator, like amongst each other. And then that's when you both will do greater things. And especially if you're an entrepreneur and he's an entrepreneur, you guys understand the struggle of loneliness. Although both of us would still be on our own journey and trying to achieve what we want to achieve, we both understand that emptiness of loneliness that we have. So finding like-minded individuals, I think that is like the best way in terms of companionship, because looks and physiques and, you know, the idea of you knowing someone, that will fade. But I don't know, you know, I'm still I feel like everyone have different ideas on a perfect couple, and also at the same time, nobody is meant for each other.
True, yeah.
You know, people always say that, oh, we're meant for each other. No, we're not. Like, we are all born individually, and it's not like, oh, you know, you and him are made to be lovers since birth. Like, I don't believe in such thing. Yeah, it's just two compatible people that can just be together in terms of like a partnership.
For like entrepreneurial women, you would suggest date a entrepreneurial mindset guy. It doesn't mean that the guy needs to be entrepreneur too, right? Because I talked to a lot of entrepreneur, but they are like guys. They prefer the woman are doing more like normal jobs because they are so busy. They need somebody to be on their side. But as a woman, what would you suggest?
I think it really depends. I would say most of the guys, like 99% of the guys, would want to have a wife that is at home.
Can you imagine yourself dating a guy that just, you know, home man? How do you call those? Like
home man? Like
we have a housewife, a houseman.
House husband.
House husband, yeah. Because I'm like trying to imagine my partner just stay at home do nothing. I think I'm fine with that actually. But like
personally, no.
No?
Yeah.
It's not do nothing, but like
it really
okay,
depends.
you go first.
It really
I'll let you
depends.
go first.
I mean, it really depends.
Yeah.
Like he just stay home and do nothing.
No, like stay at home and then
Take care of
give you
the
a lot of
kids.
security, emotional stability, take care of the kids. You just don't have to worry, but
I just have to.
you hustle yourself.
I have to hustle.
Yeah. Not hustle, but like, you know, you do the things you love, career.
But I have to like pay for the whole house and stuff. I'm like the breadwinner of the family.
Yeah, if that is the case.
I've already been in that position. I would say that was actually a lot of pressure because, you know, being an Asian tradition, right? Usually the man goes out to work and the women is the one, you know, being domesticated at home, which is great. You know, I feel that if I have the opportunity, I would want to as well. You know, you have a lot of people don't say it directly to your face, but then they'll be like, oh, how does it feel like being a man? You know, and then I'm like, I just don't know how to feel and how to respond to that. But at the same time, personally, if I were to answer your question, I would prefer to have someone that is, that is motivated and has a goal and wants to achieve something. Yeah, because I really don't need that person at home, because these days you have resources, you have like maids, like nannies at home, you have a driver if you want, you can take care of the house, do laundry. You don't really need a guy just for that. I would still rather have someone that is hustling there. Yeah.
Yeah, I think to a certain degree I agree with you, right? Like, I think I forgot who I told this about, but I feel like after 30 years old, like when you are together with somebody else, it's like a merge and acquisition. But before 30 or even before 25, it's like a joint venture. You're like having a startup together and then try to build things. Also personality, so you are compatible in a sense. But I think after 30 years old, you are really trying to find a person who's compatible with you. And if it's not, if there's a major ick, then you just just move on. So yeah, I think probably I agree with you. If I am about to have a partner, or like I would like the partner to be very entrepreneurial as well, and then to be compatible, which like, how should I say, in the modern society is really hard, because right now the man is getting, like, statistically speaking, less and less educated. I think this year we have more women graduated from the state than guys. Yeah, and also women are growing taller and taller, but a lot of women want to have at least 6 feet like other men, right?
Yeah.
And we're earning more and more. So I think at some point the entire social dynamic, especially this kind of mentality or like mindset on the female side, need to adopt a little bit. Otherwise, I think a lot of women will end up with no partners,
I think that is actually, I completely agree. I mean, I didn't know that was the statistics. But one thing I would say is that, I mean, I don't want to offend men, but men are getting weaker, I think, in terms of, like, a lot of them are actually softer. They are actually softer. And I've seen a lot among my peers. Yeah, and I don't know.
I think it's okay that they become softer and stuff, because just the society shift, right? Right now, I'm not saying us, but a lot of feminist group, they are really trying to uplifting women. We are still minority in the society, yes, right, in terms of professional settings and also a lot of different things. But I really wish the future that I can see when we are uplifting women, but don't downgrade men, because in the end, we still need mating, we still need, this kind of things.
No, of course, I love men.
Me too.
Me too. Of course, I'm not saying that we don't need men. Yeah. We do. Yeah. I
think that was a really fruitful conversation, and I'm super happy to have you on the second time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I think this show will go viral. Yeah.
Really?
No, because like I have met so many people in the conferences that knows you as well, right? And then I was like, yeah, Nicole is one of my best friends, and then like a lot of rumors.
We are best friends.
Yeah, we are
in the
best
space.
Friends. And then like a lot of people just say, okay, Nicole came from a really rich family, right? And then she's like XYZ. And then I'm like, no, Yeah, so I really think this conversation is really important for the people who doesn't know you as well. Thank you for being such a good human being. And then the kids you have, I think in the future they will be the part of the solution, not the problem, which is the most important things for the modern society.
I do my best.
Yeah.
Because I want to have 4 more.
Okay,
4 more kids.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And I just don't need to have one, because I can just be the godmother.
Yeah. Take one of mine.
Exactly. Okay. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening, and you can leave your comment below, ask the questions, and I will pick one of the best questions and then add as the guest without you knowing who is the guest you are going to ask the question to. So thank you for listening.